The rain outside is pouring quite heavily, so if you hear that, apologies, I can't get rid of that, that's just the realities of recording beside a window. But this is another Why I Want episode, and I'm planning to stick a little bit more towards the Why I Want and the prospects, because I tried taking a little bit more of the poll that I put up on my channel into question, and I started making a little bit more playoff videos. For some reason, though, those have only capped off at 500 views so far. I'm not saying that I'm complaining about 500 views, that's great. It's just that I know that I typically get between 1 to 2, maybe 3,000 views within 24 hours. Those playoff videos that I've done are at 500 now. And the Boston one was uploaded a few days ago, the St. Louis one was uploaded 2 days ago, so it indicates to me that there are some pieces of content that I could make that you guys would probably receive a little bit better, so I might shift a little bit away from playoff videos in general because the reception doesn't really seem to be there. I know with Why I Want and with other prospect videos, those garner a lot more attention, and therefore it says to me that you guys probably want to see that more. So, this video here, it's Matthew Boldy, Why I Want on Baldy, and this commentary is probably going to put a little bit into light just how stacked the USNTDP is here. Now, when it comes to the five-headed monster that the USNTDP has on forward, Baldy is arguably the worst one. Among Hughes, Zegras, Turcotte, Caufield, and Baldy, you could totally make the argument that Baldy is not that special in comparison to all the others. And I understand why. Baldy doesn't have the skating of Hughes. He doesn't have the passing and the vision of Zegras. He doesn't have the two-way game as Turcotte. He doesn't have the goal-scoring ability as Caufield. But the fact is, Baldy can do all of that extraordinarily well. Not at the elite level like some of his peers can, but Baldy has been described as the perfect player, a Swiss Army knife by many, because Baldy rarely makes mistakes. He's playing on the first line with Jack Hughes and Caufield at the U18s right now. So far, you probably have heard about the dominance that they have. Caufield with 9 goals, 11 points in the 3 games they've played. Jack Hughes is at 10 points, and Baldy is at 9. And the dominance just doesn't stop there. Baldy this season with the USNTDP 78 points in 60 games, against USHL competition 43 points in 28 games played. He's a really good point producer, and I know I kind of harped at him at the beginning for not having the high quality assets like the other 4 guys, because those assets that I listed of those 4, Turcotte, Zegras, Baldy, Caufield, those are the main bread and butter with those players. I mean, Turcotte, he's got more skill than just being a two-way guy. He's fantastic overall offensively too, but Baldy doesn't have one thing that he's particularly good at, in my opinion. He's got a really good skill set offensively, defensively, in the corners, in the board battles, transition game, penalty kill, all of that Baldy excels at. He's 6'2", 192 pounds, so he's got a big body. And quite frankly, it's bigger than most of his other USNTDP teammates. Jack Hughes is small, Caufield is very small, Zegras is kinda small, and Turcotte is kinda small too. Baldy is not small, so he's got that going for him above all of his USNTDP teammates, the size factor, and what he's able to do with that size. Baldy exhibits very good power forward-like qualities when he wants to, but he's also able to go really offensively dynamo skilled and set up his teammates with a fantastic pass once in a while. His visioning is really good, his two-way game is really good, he barely makes mistakes, and he's called that Swiss Army knife for a reason. If you want actual looks at Baldy, Maroki on Defense has a fantastic, long video about Matthew Boldy. It's basically a video essay talking about the pros and what he's able to accomplish out there on the ice. Basically, he's very well-rounded, and when he wants to be offensively skilled, he can be. There's a reason he was playing with Caufield and Jack Hughes, because he can. And he's skilled enough to do so and complement that line. So why do I want Boldy for the Canucks? Well, he primarily plays as a left winger, and the Vancouver Canucks could probably use some left wingers, right? Right, we all know that this is the narrative. It's left wingers and right-handed defensemen that the Vancouver Canucks could use the most. A guy like Boldy, if he was drafted by Vancouver, he would be basically the perfect piece of the puzzle for the Besser-Pettersson line. If we had a Boldy, Pettersson, Besser line, they would all just complement each other so well, because Boldy would be able to do the heavy lifting when it comes to board battles, when it comes to two-way game, and all of that stuff that's kind of defensively reliant in terms of the hockey game. But it's kind of funny because Boldy, if he really needed to, he could step up offensively too. He could cycle the puck with Besser and Pettersson. He can take great shots that go in once in a while. He's got really good offensive visioning for a guy who probably defines himself as a two-way guy. And his offensive visioning allows him to go to places around the ice that are unscathed, find lanes, and find open areas that can set up good chances in front. Boldy is just so complete in everything that he does that I could totally see him maxing out as a 70, 65-point player in the NHL. I don't see him getting to 80 points. Depending on his line mates, I think it probably could happen, but I don't see it. But to me, Boldy is more of a guy who could probably max out at 70-ish points while doing everything else that people like. Two-way game, penalty kill, all that stuff is a heavy asset in Boldy's game, and having a really good offensive ceiling on top of that certainly isn't too shabby. Boldy is projected to go around the Vancouver Canucks mark of the draft. Guys have him at 9, some guys have him as high as 7, some guys have him as low as 11, so it really depends, but for the most part, Boldy is a great player to have at 10. Now, for me specifically, there's a little bit of an internal debate as to whether I would choose my pick on Boldy, because there are other guys that I believe have higher ceilings, but that's a completely other topic for a new video. But Boldy, as a guy who is really skilled everywhere on the ice and who makes no mistakes, hence the nickname, the perfect player, I would be perfectly fine with drafting Boldy at 10. Frankly, I'd be very welcoming of it, and I would be so open to the possibility of what we would be able to see in the future with Boldy as a Vancouver Canuck. Now, that wraps up the why I want portion of this video. Let's actually talk a little bit more about the rest of the draft, because aside from maybe Alex Turcotte, Boldy is the last player that the Vancouver Canucks realistically have a shot of drafting that I'm doing for why I want here. But you are going to have to let me know what I need to do with this series, because when it comes to guys that the Vancouver Canucks could draft, but probably won't because they're going to be gone beforehand, there's one more player that I would want that I probably could cover, and that's Alex Turcotte. When it comes to the rest of the first round, there are guys who could be bigger jumps in this draft that I would really want for sure. Bobby Brink comes to mind. And when it comes to the draft, there are second-round talents that I really want as well. So you are going to have to let me know, do you want maybe a few more videos on the first-round guys like Turcotte and Brink, or do we go straight into second-round talent because there isn't that much first-round talent to cover? Now, as I said, there are just a little bit more first-round players that I would like to talk about, but we could definitely transition into second-rounders sooner if that's what's desired. And as I said, the whole uploading schedule with my practicum and the playoffs going on, it's all wonky, and the playoff coverage is probably going to slow down quite a bit considering that you guys seem to be more enticed into other kinds of content. So I hope you can understand where I'm coming from with that. But other than that, there's going to be more of a focus on prospects, the draft, and a few more hypothetical questions, because there are a few things that I'd like to actually establish when it comes to this draft, and they could all be long videos, so I'm not going to all spew it out onto this one commentary right here, but this has been a Why I Want on Matthew Boldy. Sorry for inserting a whole bunch of other random stuff about the channel into this video, but I felt that it was necessary to establish all that right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Social links down below, /gaming, and Bye.